If you've been hearing me say signature speech, signature story, and you've been wondering to yourself, what does she mean when she says a signature speech? I'm going to be answering that question and a whole lot more in today's episode. So let's get on to the show.
You're listening to Be in Demand, the podcast for honest advice, inspiring stories, and ideas for growing your business by leveraging the expert that you are. I'm your host, Laurie-Ann, business mentor, and I'm also a reformed painfully shy girl, red wine lover, and exercise enthusiast. Join me as I share how being positioned as the expert in your industry, even if it's a busy one, will help you stand out and be the one in demand to hire and work with.
Hello. And if you are enjoying the summertime like I have been, it just goes by so fast. And today I wanted to talk to you about a signature speech because here we are rapidly approaching the fall season. And this is a great time that a lot of associations actually start their regular meetings again. There are going to be fall conferences, both in person and virtually, and actually even hybrid. Hybrid is very much a common theme these days, but it is a great time to get booked. You know, a lot of times people say, yeah, but I just want to take the summer off. But guess what? There's a lot of meeting planners that are not taking the summer off. But I digress. I want to talk to you and help you understand what is a signature speech, because I get this a lot. And the reason why I wanted to discuss this is I recently did some ideal client interviews. And I highly recommend that if you haven't done any ideal client interviews, that you consider doing them. You will uncover not only areas that you need to be speaking about and talking about, but actually areas that people might be confused on. The different language that you use that your ideal clients, they don't use and they're not familiar with. So that's what we're going to really dive into more here. Let's start with what is a signature speech. A signature speech is pretty much the same speech that you use over and over and over again. It's similar to having a signature story, a story that you use over and over again. And when you use something over and over again or deliver it over and over again, you get really good at telling that story, telling that speech. Maybe there is a signature program that you have that you love to give. One of mine is I have a one-day masterclass, and it is called the How to Get Booked and Paid to Speak Masterclass. And that's a masterclass that I've given it numerous times. I know the information forward and backwards, and you might have something that's very similar. So that's what a signature speech is. It is pretty much a speech that you give over and over again. It could be 60 minutes. You could cut it down, this very same speech, to 30 minutes, maybe even 15 or 20 minutes, 45, or maybe even extend it into a workshop. But the beauty of having a signature speech is that when you get really good at delivering that speech, you don't have to put in extra hours to practice. You don't have to put in the extra hours to create a new presentation. You can just basically, hey, maybe you need to brush up a little bit, depends on how long it was since the last time you actually spoke and delivered this presentation. But when you are able to give that presentation, and you're good at giving it, it sounds conversational. It sounds natural. The words just roll off your tongue. And your audience can't help but actually feel your energy. Because thinking about it this way, you're not nervous about forgetting a line. You're not nervous about missing a point because you know your signature speech. It's been not only designed perfectly, designed well with, and what I mean by that is that there are certain places, there are certain parts of a signature speech that you really should have. And this is something that I teach my private clients, but also the students that are inside my in-demand signature speech program. You know, you have to grab people's attention. So that's really your hook, that first 30 seconds. So there are certain parts that make a really great, what I call a 3Cs presentation, which is compelling, captivating, and most importantly, converting signature speech. But imagine just like having a speech that's ready to go. And then somebody calls you and says, hey, our speaker had to cancel. Is there any way that you can fill in? And because you've already got this speech in your back pocket, essentially, it's really easy to say, yes, I am happy to do that. I happen to be free. Not only is the meeting planner or the conference organizer, or whoever it is that is requesting you to speak, they are just going to have like a breath, like, oh, thank goodness. Now they have the speaker for their meeting. Now they have the guest expert for their mastermind, for their event, for their conference. And it just makes you look really good, by the way. That's going to be something that they are going to talk about. Like, oh, if you needed, like she spoke, I called her at the last minute and she was able to fill in. What a relief that is, not only for the meeting planner, but you don't have to say yes and be like, oh, shoot, what am I going to talk about? Well, you already have a speech that's in your back pocket. So here's another question that I get a lot is, yeah, but can I really use the same speech again and again? Like, what if there are some people who heard me already give this speech before? And here's what I'm going to ask you. What's your favorite movie? How many times have you watched that movie? And you're probably sitting there saying, oh, here's my favorite movie. And yep, I have watched it multiple times. So a couple of my favorite movies are Under the Tuscan Sun and Pretty Woman. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen either one of them. I've seen them that many times. And yes, I'm watching the movie. I know exactly how it's going to end. I know all the little bits and pieces and all the different scenes in the middle, but I still will watch it again and again. The same thing is true for your signature speech. Your audience may have heard you speak at another event. They may have already heard your story before, but you know what? They are going to enjoy hearing the story again. They are going to be in a different place where they're hearing you again. So maybe something that you had shared with them the very first time that they heard you speak wasn't applicable to their life at that moment. But here we are today, and they're hearing you again for the second or maybe even the third time. And it's like whatever you're saying, they're just like, it resonates differently. You know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. There's that phrase. And I think I might have got it a little backwards. Anyways, they're going to maybe take action this time versus last time it wasn't applicable to their life or where they were. So that's why hearing you speak multiple times, there are a number of speakers that I've heard speak multiple times. As a matter of fact, there's one person, his name is Alan Weiss, and I love listening to him. I love signing up for some of his online stuff, seeing him in person. I love the way he makes me think. Now, there are some similar stories that I've heard him tell over and over and over again, and it never gets boring because I'm always a different person when I'm in his audience. I'm applying what he's talking about differently. And your audience is going to do the exact same thing when you have a signature speech, when they hear you give that speech again and again. Now, one of the things that I teach my clients, and I also teach people over inside In Demand Signature Speech, is how to customize your signature speech so that the audience actually thinks that you wrote that speech for them. There are some very minor tweaks that you can apply to your presentation, that you can insert so that your audience, the specific audience, like whoever it is that you're speaking for, why they hired you to speak, they actually will end up feeling like she wrote this just for us. There's a way to customize it so that your audience does feel like you wrote it just for them. So I just want to share that with you. Where would you use a signature speech? Because maybe you're feeling like, yeah, but I'm not really speaking. Well, first off, you should be speaking. It is one of the best ways to elevate your brand, the best ways to elevate your personal brand, your business brand, to really attract people to you. And when I say attract people to really draw in the right clients to you. But it's also a great way to get known. Now, if you happen to work for a company, one of the best ways to excel in your career is to be speaking, whether you are speaking at industry meetings, you are speaking up at meetings, just being visible and being seen, being able to communicate with confidence really will take you so far. It's Warren Buffett who actually said, learn public speaking skills and you will increase your value by 50%. And I actually think if you learn public speaking skills, you will increase your business revenue and brand awareness and all that stuff by at least 75%. So you'll use bits and pieces of your signature speech in various situations, such as the authority section. You could actually use that if you're on a podcast, if you're a guest on a podcast, or you're someplace else where you have to introduce yourself. You could use and insert your authority section and share that. And it will, because you have given it over and over again, because you're the one who wrote it, it will just flow very naturally and sound very eloquent and conversational. And then there are different bits and pieces, like you might be, again, like on a podcast or even a guest expert, and being able to talk about one of your topics that you are sharing, one of the pieces of information that you're sharing inside your signature speech. You could just insert that into conversations. Not only use it as like written content, or maybe you want to create some videos, but there's all different places that you're actually going to use your signature speech, not just in a formal speech. A lot of my students who have taken in-demand signature speech, they've been on the radio, they've been on TV, and they've been able to just use different pieces of their signature speech, and they felt so confident using those pieces. So they were so grateful that they actually had it. So I just wanted to share that with you, that it's not just on the in-person and virtual stage that you're going to use your signature speech. So the other question that I get is like, well, who needs a signature speech? Well, are you a coach? Are you a consultant? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a careerist? Are you somebody who is looking to elevate your brand? Elevate your business brand, increase your visibility. Because if you're growing your business over on Facebook or Instagram, the algorithm I kind of consider to be like the landlord who doesn't really like you. Almost not really the slumlord, but it's just the landlord that keeps changing the rules. And that's what the algorithm is. Once you figure out what the algorithm is, trust me, they keep changing it. It's something new. And so no matter how much you are trying to master the algorithm and post as much as you can and engage as much as you can, you're still at the mercy of the social media platform to make sure that they are showing your content to people. But are those people that are seeing your content, are they actually ideal clients? People who can actually become paying clients, people who can hire you, people who can refer you. When you're the speaker at the in-person or the virtual event, you are speaking to an audience of pre-qualified leads. And here's why I say that, is because anybody who is in your audience has raised their hand and they have spent something. There is some sort of a transaction, if you will, between the two of you. Whereas somebody either raised their hand and they bought a ticket, or they paid for a membership, or they're paying to be in a mastermind, or your host of a podcast is paying to be on that platform, or, time. Time is the other negotiable. I'm raising my hand and I'm spending time to listen to you because I'm interested in what you're talking about. I'm interested in your topic because I've got the pain that you actually can solve. And so those are the things that that's why the people who are listening to you are pre-qualified leads. And to be able to take those people and deepen the relationship with them, or make them an offer from the stage, which could be turned into clients. Maybe it's a freebie. Maybe it's to get on your email list. It's just very, very organic, but speaking positions you as the expert. And in my opinion, speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. So that's who should be using this. So I want to make sure that I came on here and I explained in this episode what a signature speech is, so that you would understand why you need one, where you can use it. And you probably have already said, like, well, I'm a coach. I'm a consultant. I'm a service-based professional, and let me just address the service-based professional, because I will get a lot of people such as virtual assistants, copywriters, web designers who will say, yeah, but I've never seen a copywriter actually speak. I've never seen a virtual assistant, at a conference speaking. Never seen a web designer speaking at a conference or a meeting or as a guest expert. And I say, thank goodness. Imagine how much you're going to stand out then. Yes, that's because speaking positions you as the expert. You're not only the expert in the room, but you become a known expert in the industry also. So if you're wondering like, well, how can I get a signature speech? I want to encourage you to get on the wait list for in-demand signature speech so that you're going to be the first person to know the next time I open the doors. And you can go to speakandstandout.com/SS, which stands for signature speech. And you can get on the wait list, and you can also learn a little bit more about the program and how it is a 8-week program that walks you step by step by step, so that by the end of 8 weeks, you have a signature speech that you are not only proud to deliver, but you're going to feel really confident sharing with audiences. And so I would jump on that wait list so that you'll learn like the next time that I open the doors. I've run this program before. This has typically been something that I only shared with my private clients. And now I have, this year I opened it up to a group setting. So I would highly recommend that you jump on that wait list, and because it has sold out before just from the wait list. So I hope that I answered all your questions about what is a signature speech. Now you probably know. And signature stories are very similar. You infuse your signature speech with some of your signature stories. And I teach the people that inside the program and also my private clients that we craft stories that actually subconsciously address the objections that your audience is having, that your audience is thinking, that your audience is feeling. We address those in your stories, in your presentation. That way, when it comes time for you to share your offer, it becomes like a no-brainer for them. They're like, this is me. You're like literally pulling in the people who it's perfect for, and you're sort of pushing away the people that it's not right for. So if you're a coach, a consultant, and you're looking to get a lot more visible and want to feel confident crafting presentations, then I want to encourage you to jump on that wait list. Go over to speakandstandout.com/SS to learn more about the program. And if it feels like it's something that speaks to you and it's resonating for you, then jump on the wait list. And until next time, be in demand.
Thanks for hanging out with me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And join me over in my private Facebook group for more tips, community, and free trainings. You'll find the link in the show notes. You can also help this podcast reach more listeners by leaving a review. And as a thank you, each month I pick one of my reviewers to win a free coaching call with me. So if you haven't done so already, please leave a review and you could be the next winner.